about 16 2-inch, that's 5 cm vol au vent cases, you're going to need 450 grams, 1 pound of puff pastry. You'll also need some flour for dusting and some milk for glazing. You could use beaten egg, which gives a highly glazed finish, but it's not really necessary. So first of all, you need to roll your pastry out, and the key is not to roll it out too thinly. It needs to be at least 6 millimeters, that's 1/4 inch deep, preferably even a little thicker, but no more than 1 centimetre, that's 1/2 inch. And then you need to cut out your circles, and it's easier to use a pastry cutter. And you simply dip the pastry cutter in the flour so that it's quite well coated, and then cut out your circle. Now you can do all sorts of shapes if you feel like it, and that's particularly useful if you're doing lots of different fillings. So for instance, you could do square ones, or even if you're feeling very artistic, cut out freehand fish ones if you're going to have a fish filling. And the next stage is to actually make it so that you have the part in the middle which can be filled after it's been baked. And this is done using the tip of a sharp small knife. Dip your knife into some flour and then simply score a smaller circle onto the pastry disc. Now you should leave at least 1/4 inch, 6 millimeters for the border. Now you have to be careful not to cut all the way through, otherwise when you come to cook it, the middle will fall out. And basically you need to do that for all of the circles or whatever shape you've decided. I'm just going to show you a square one here, just for the purposes of demonstration, and leaving about a 6 millimeter, 1/4 inch border. Simply score through. Once they're all done, place them on a baking sheet and then just lightly glaze the edges with some milk. Now these have to go into a preheated, very hot oven, and it's really important that the oven is up to the right temperature before you put them in, otherwise they won't rise properly. The temperature should be 200 centigrade, that's 400 Fahrenheit, gas mark 6. And they go in for between 10 to 15 minutes. Do keep an eye on them because it really does depend on your oven. But they're done when they're well risen, golden and set. So once again, that goes into a preheated, very hot oven, 200 centigrade, 400 Fahrenheit, gas mark 6, for 10 to 15 minutes. Once they're cooked, well risen and golden brown, remove from the oven, and there are actually two ways that you can finish these off. First of all, if you want a very deep receptacle, you can just take a sharp knife, cut around the scored piece in the middle, very gently, remove the top bit, which you can actually use as a lid when you're serving them. And then take any excess pastry from the centre, just scoop it out very gently. And there you have the middle part ready to be filled. Just place that on a wire rack to cool. The second method is to use something like the end of your pastry brush and simply push down the central part and press it down really firmly. And there you have it. And once again, place that on a wire rack to cool. Once cold, you can fill them with hot fillings or cold fillings, or even sweet fillings, which make a really nice change. And there's a whole page on the website just dedicated to making vol au vents with loads of filling recipes and ideas. Deliciously crisp, light and airy homemade vol au vent cases